you. Okay, what they say, every master was once a disaster. Yeah, it's also me. So I'm Kelly, and Zach and Eden asked me 3 days ago to give this training to you guys. And I'm going to really be honest and vulnerable with you. 3 days, I didn't know where I'm going to talk about. It was like I had a blackout, and this afternoon, I still didn't know it. And I say to Michael, help me, I don't know where I can talk about. And I was reflecting myself, and I was looking to myself and asking myself, why is this, nothing is coming into my head, and I don't know why. And now I know because I was overthinking too much, and I was looking at myself, and I say, Kelly, the reason why you don't have a training right now into your head is because you have a story to tell. And this is really true. And most of people who already know me, I'm now 4 years into this business, and I really have a story to tell. And I know that I can help so much people with it because I've been through a lot, like every one of you, and all the things that we are going to been through in this journey of isogenics. I really want to help you to see the things different, and also to help you to get over the objections, over the struggles, and everything that we are been through into this business. So I'm going to start with my journey. So I'm Kelly. I'm a mom of 2 beautiful children. I have a lovely husband. I was working as a retail manager when I started this business, and I worked 16 hours a week. I really was burned out, to be honest, and I really didn't know what to do anymore with my life because I was struggling. I was all the time changing my time for money, and I didn't have the time with my family enough. I didn't saw them growing up. They really are teenagers at that moment. So it became really clear for me that I wanted to change my life, and I wanted to change that for the next 20 years. I didn't want to do it again, what I did before. But I was so happy that when Evelyn, my best friend, was introducing me into this business, I really, really opened my eyes and take a look at this business. And I knew that I could do something different in my life. But I didn't have anything of experience in network marketing at all. So I really needed to dive deep into this in this business and in the self-development. And what I also knew at that time, I had a burning desire. And that's why I'm still here 4 years later, because of that burning desire to change my life. And everybody know that in the first year, I didn't have a fast start. I see team members of my team are growing so fast, and then I'm so happy for them that I see that they can do this in a fast start. But it's not because you don't have a fast start, you cannot becoming successful into this business. And I say this to you because I'm an experience of that situation. In the first year, I also, when I started this business, I had a difficult year. I lost my home. Almost nobody knows that in isogenics, and I'm now really vulnerable with you. But in the first year, and I think Michael knew, that I really lost my home with my family. I was standing on the street. I had nothing anymore. I don't have a lot of money on my bank accounts. I just had my isogenics business. I had my family with me, and I had the biggest thing that I had my two dogs, and that was it. And I really was looking at my life at that moment, and I say, I'm now 37. I have no home. I standing on the door for my mother, and I asked her, Mom, can we stay here for a couple of weeks, a couple of months, because we lost our home. And at that moment, it became a little bit, the feelings of that moment come above. And I asked my mom, you have to help us. You have a 2-bedroom apartment. You don't have the place, and I know that. but we are in a situation that we need help. And from that pain that I have felt at that moment changed everything, because we changed the pain into our strength, into the belief that we could change our lives. And I knew isogenics at that moment, that this is the way out. This was really our way out to do something different and to finally don't have the issues anymore. But I knew I was standing there with my mom. My children were next to me, teenagers. It was really embarrassing. Embarrassing to let my children saw that I make a mess of my life at that moment. But I realized now, and I'm going to stop to cry, that I had to change the game for my family. I really had to change the game. And I gathered all my courage together, all of it. And this is the power that we all have. We all have the power to choose. We all have the power to not stay in the same position where you are right now and where you're not feeling healthy, you're not feeling happy, you're not feeling good. You really have the power to change that. And I didn't want to stay in the same place. I really didn't. So I had a million excuses in the first year of isogenics to say to this business, it's not for me. To say to this business, I don't have the time. To say to this business, I cannot do this. But my burning desire was bigger than my excuses. So I started to work on myself. I really did. I started to work on myself and to learn the skills into this business. I became a student, a really big one. I think I never missed an event. I really do. I never missed a training. I was always sitting in the front rows with my pen and paper. And I was droving, I don't know how to say it in English. I was writing all the time, all the lessons that could help me to work on my business. At that moment, when Zach and Eden were coming to Belgium, I learned to know them. And I really started to see every Sunday the trainings like we have now. And you heard me speaking. My English is not so very well, so it's changed already a lot. But in the beginning, when I listened to the trainings of Zach and Eden, I didn't understand the half of what they were saying. But every Sunday, I was sitting there in the front row to try to analyze what they were trying to tell me and try to analyze how this business was working. So I started to understand step by step what they were trying to tell me. So it became more a habit of being a student in the first place. But at the end, it gives me so much value for myself, but definitely for my team. And then I didn't use that as my excuse. Sometimes I have people in the team who say to me, my English is not good enough. So try. That's what I did. And then the warm markets. I have people in the team who have a warm market, and everybody is enrolling the mother, the son, the uncle, the niece. I didn't have my warm markets. I had my warm markets, but they weren't open enough to help me at that moment. So I had also a prejudgment of everyone. I thought they're not going to do it. They don't have the money. They're not going to take shakes. They are not open for it. So also I really took things in my head. So I stood myself in the way. And after when I realized what I really was standing myself in the way was using the templates. and was using the system. So at that moment, I didn't realize that. And it became a really frustration. I didn't find the people. I don't know how to build my business. I was successful as a retail manager, but now I'm not. So I really didn't know. And it became for me so insecure because I didn't know anymore who I was. And then I saw Michael and Evelyn. And Michael and Evelyn in the beginning, they were growing and growing their business so fast. Everyone saw this happening. And I was standing there next to them, my best friend, because she was introducing me into this business. At that moment, I started to think about myself. Maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe this is not for me. Maybe I have to learn the skills to become a personal trainer. Maybe I have to go to school and to learn the lessons how I can be a good food coach. All the things I was putting into my head, and I was really struggling to find myself into this business. And the reason why I'm all telling you this is that I know that there are people now here into this call who have the same issues. But because of my adopting of myself, I really was adopting myself, I had to look to my own strengths. And I really have to do the self-reflection of myself. And we all have something beautiful in us. We all have something that is our zone of genius. And everybody has it. You only have to find it and to put it in a way that you can use it also into this business. So I started to recognize my patterns, but I also lost myself in comparison modes. If I think at Dominique, and everybody knows Dominique, I don't know if he is on the call, but I was already 1 year in this business. And Dominique was coming into this business and he grew so fast. And I was still struggling with myself, finding myself, looking for myself, find the person who I want to be in this business. After 1 year, I saw somebody coming into this business who are taking it to the next level. And that was again, a struggle, an obstacle that I have to go through. I saw myself and I couldn't go. I was always a person who was happy for someone, who lost himself already once in a comparison mode. Put a one in the chat. I thank everyone, yeah? It's normal. We all do that. So don't be so, how can I say it in English? Don't be so tough. Don't be so tough on yourself if you are in that kind of period. It's normal that you go through that. But what I really understand is at that moment is that when I saw Dominique growing so fast, I couldn't be happy for him. And I couldn't say congratulations. And at that moment, I find it really tough to say that. And I recognized something in myself that I not was that kind of person. I was a person who was always happy for someone else, for always someone else's success. And at that moment, I called and I took my phone and I say to Dominique, Dominique, you don't know me. We didn't met before, but I just want to say to you, congratulations. Because I really didn't like the person who I was and looked at the mirror. And I did really a self-reflection at that time. And everybody has his journey. It's not is because you go fast or because you go slow. You see now the situation. We are 4 years later and me and Dominique are standing next to each other and we achieve the same levels. Even if my business is not was growing so fast like his. So don't think about my business is not growing fast. I don't can be successful into this business. You have your journey and trust that journey. So I have a little bit paper because otherwise I forget what I am going to tell to you. there was just one thing that I realized in the comparison modus at that time with me and Dominic, is I was not focused enough on my business because I had time to compare myself. I really had time to compare myself. So I was thinking about, am I doing the income producing activities enough to give me the results that I want? And that was something that cleared my vision, because I say to myself, I cannot compare myself to someone who is maybe working 10 hours a day into this business, and I maybe are just doing 3 hours or 4 hours. So it takes time for me to build the same skills, to build the same business, and don't compare with yourself. In my business, everybody knows my best friend, Evelyn. And Evelyn was, after a couple of years, gone into this business. This was also really tough for me. And I'm going to be really vulnerable with you. It was tough to see my best friend going. But it didn't kept me stay. It didn't. I stayed in the business. You know what I mean? It's not that I never used all the things that happened to me as my excuse to not keep going and to stay stuck into my vision. Because one thing I knew is that Isogenics was always be there, and I know that this is going to be. I didn't have a plan B. This is what we want to have. In my first year, if the business is not going really well, you don't earn also so much money. And in the beginning, I put all my money into Isogenics events. It's maybe strange if you know my past and that you know in what kind of situation I was. I really understand that I had to need to invest in myself. So I put all my money that I earned on the Isogenics account into the events of Birmingham, into the events of Rotterdam. I stayed, I slept in the hotel, and it was all paid by the company. I didn't have a lot of money at the end of the year, but what I really had is a new Kelly. And this is more powerful and priceless than what I could earn in my first year in Isogenics. So this is why I'm going to sell to you is that events are so, so important, and trainings also. And be honest to yourself. Are you doing enough today into your business what you want to achieve? And after 1 year, I still wasn't all in. Even if I was going to all the events, even if I was going to all the trainings, even as trying and to do my best, I still wasn't all in. And do you know what kind of realization I had at that moment? When I worked with my boss 16 years, I never took a day off, never. When I had to go to my job, even if my children were sick, my husband was took care of them, but I was going to my job. That was my obligation, that I had to do it. But what I was realizing, that Isogenics, we are doing this most of the time in our home. We are doing this most of the time in our private life. And of the moment that you have struggles, of the moment that you have things going on in your personal life, it's so easy and so fast to do nothing. And at that point, I was realizing myself, Kelly, you are not honest with yourself. That moment that I realized that I had days that I felt bad, I felt sad, I felt not good, and then I did nothing for my business. And I look at myself. I really look myself in the mirror. And I asked myself, Kelly, are you really honest with yourself? And to be honest, My answer at that moment was no, because I say I'm going to change my life, but I didn't do anything, not much to change my life. So at that moment, I made that decision. At that moment, I made a decision, and you can do this too. You can make a decision to go all in. You can make a decision, and you can say to yourself, and I want that everybody put this now today into the chat. I am a leader. Do this. Make that commitment for yourself. I am a leader. I going all in. I make the decision to change my life today. And that was the decision that changed everything. I started to use the templates. I really looked to this business as a business. I started to use the templates. I find my team, because you attract people if you are ready to. You are really ready. You at the moment when you are developing yourself, you are developing yourself. But you know why you're doing this. It's not only for you, but it's for the people who are coming into your team. So take that time to really invest in yourself. So what I just want to say to you is, after when I was doing and making that decision, everything's changed. And then I saw my business growing. I saw that the people were coming into my business. I worked with every one of them. And what I also want to give you as an advice, my biggest takeaway of this business is that you can build deep and have a big leverage. And a big tip for you is go and find deep into your organization who is ready to run with you. I have a lot of business people in my team who are not directly enrolled by myself. I have a lot of business people who changed the game for me that enrolled by someone else. So even if, like me, your network was not big enough, you always can find people who know people. And it's not the people who you know, but it's about the people who they know. And then link arms with them, find the ones who really wants to run with you, and make from this business a huge business, because Isogenics is such a great company and we can all win from it, everyone. But there's one difference between all of us, and that's you. So ask yourself, what are you doing today to keep your business going? And ask yourself, what can you change to make a success of it? I really want to thank you. I don't know how much time it is. Oh, I'm on time. Yeah, I really want to thank you. I hope you have, this was really vulnerable that I talked to you about my story, but I really want to say to everyone that everyone has his journey. Keep going, see this for the long term, and we're all going to win into this business. Mwah.